Hi everyone! My name's Colleen and I'm an educator at the St. Louis Art Museum. Welcome to Wee Wednesday! Today we're going to be talking about our imaginations. We'll start by reading a story together, then we'll be looking at some art from the museum's collection, and we'll end by making our own art together. Feel free to pause the video at any time if you'd like to get a closer look, if you'd like to talk about something with the people that you're with, or if you need to gather some art supplies. Are you ready? Let's get started. Today, we're going to be reading a story called If. If you've joined me for Wee Wednesday before, you may know that when I read a new book, I like to take a look at the cover to see if I can find out some things about the story before I read. Let's take a look at this cover together. What do you notice? I see a few different clues on this cover. I notice there's a big tree branch here, and it has some flowers and some oranges, so maybe it's an orange tree. And I also see all these green shapes here. And when I first looked at it, I thought they might be leaves because it's a tree. But when I looked closer, I could see that they're actually fish, which is making me very interested as to what kind of tree this might be. What do you think the story might be about based on what we can see? Let's find out. If by Sarah Perry. Now you're actually going to help me read this story today because each page of this book begins with the same word, if. So we're going to practice saying that word together, okay? Ready? If. So every time I begin a new page, you can read along with me. If cats could fly. If mice were hair. What do you think that might feel like? If worms had wheels. Let's imagine what that might be like. What do you think it might be like to see one of them on the sidewalk? Where do you think they might be going? If frogs ate rainbows. What do you think their croaks might sound like? What do you think they might be saying? If dogs were mountains. Imagine climbing one of these mountains. What do you think you might see at the top? If zebras had stars and stripes. If music could be held. We're going to listen to a piece of music together and imagine what it might feel like to hold it in our hands. So if you'd like, you can close your eyes and you can think about what it might feel like to hold that music in your hand. Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it rough or smooth? So let's listen to our music. Are you ready? Okay. What did that feel like? Let's keep going. If toes were teeth. If caterpillars were toothpaste. What do you think it would be like to brush your teeth with that? If whales lived in outer space. If leaves were fish. What do you think you would call that kind of tree? If clouds were spirits. If butterflies were clothes. If lightning made rhinos. What do you think the thunder might do then? If ants could count. What do you think they might be counting? If the moon were square. If kids had tails. If spiders could read Braille. So Braille is a written form of language that people who are blind or have low vision use. The characters are made up of raised dots, and you feel them with your fingertips. What do you think the spider might be reading? If hummingbirds told secrets. What secret do you think this hummingbird might be telling this monkey? If this is the end, then dream up some more. The end. I invite you to think about your favorite part of the story and talk about that with the people that you're with. We're going to travel to the museum now to look at some works of art. Let's imagine how we might get there. Imagine if it snowed today and you could take a sled all the way there. Or what if the birds right outside could carry you? Or what if all it took was for you to blink your eyes and wiggle your nose? And that's all it took to get there. So you decide how you'd like to go. Once you've decided, if you'd like, you can close your eyes and imagine yourself going. Whew, ooh, wow, that was a really exciting journey today using our imaginations. I'm really glad that we made it. In order to get ready to look at our works of art, we're going to be doing an experience I'm calling our Mindfulness Minute. So mindfulness is taking the time to slow down and really pay attention to what you're doing. Since we're using our imaginations today, we're going to use that as a tool to help us be mindful today. So to get started, we're going to imagine ourselves shrinking down to the size of a tiny bumblebee. Are you a bumblebee yet? Now, to get started, we're going to take a big deep breath in through our nose. And when we breathe out, we're going to buzz like a bee. Are you ready? Let's breathe in through our nose. And breathe out and buzz. Buzz. Let's try that again. Breathe in. And out. Buzz. Whew. Let's fly around our space so that we can get a new perspective now that we're a bumblebee. So imagine yourself buzzing around the space that you're in and landing on something different. Think about what the object might look like now that you're the size of a bumblebee. Notice its shape, its color, its texture, how it might feel under your tiny little bumblebee feet. How does your space look different now that you're much smaller? Imagine what that might feel like. Let's take another deep breath in and a big buzz out. Ready? Breathe in, out, buzz. Let's do that one more time. In, out, buzz. Great job. I feel much more ready to look at some really amazing works of art. We're going to look at some works of art from the museum's collection together. If you'd like, you can scroll down on the page to get a closer look at the images we'll be viewing. Feel free to pause the video at any time to do this. Take a close look at this work of art. What do you see? How does this painting make you feel? Think of a word that describes that feeling. If you'd like, you can share it with the people that you're with. Let's zoom in to get a closer look. What new things can you see now? This is a painting by an artist named Julie Mehretu. It's called Gray Space Distractor. She was inspired by maps, blueprints for buildings, and logos when creating this painting. It was created by applying multiple layers of ink and acrylic paint to a canvas. Find a shape or line in this painting that matches each of these movements. Find a shape or line that is bending. Find a shape or line that is twisting. Find a shape or line that is crashing. Imagine you are one of the shapes and lines in this painting. If you'd like, you can make a movement inspired by this work of art. Let's see how another artist used their imagination to create a work of art. We're going to start by looking at this work of art from up close first. What do you notice? What kinds of colors and lines do you see? Let's zoom out to get a different view. What can you see now? Let's zoom out one last time to get the full view of this work of art. What's going on in this picture? This is a print by an artist named Mary Lovelace O'Neill. It's called City Lights, Prophet with No Tongue. A print is a work of art that's created by placing ink on a plate and then transferring that design to another surface, such as paper. Mary Lovelace O'Neill was inspired by a city skyline when creating this work of art. Let's imagine that we're inside this city in this work of art. What sounds can you hear? Let's listen closely. Think about imagining your hometown in a new way with shapes, lines, and colors as Mary Lovelace O'Neill has done. What would it look like? If you'd like, you can share your vision for your imaginative city with the people that you're with. Now that we've looked at some art together, let's travel back home so we can make our own art. Just like you can exercise your mind and your body, you can exercise your imagination too. So let's exercise that imagination again and hop on your sled and slide through the snow, or make sure to get those birds so they can carry you home, or blink your eyes and wiggle your nose, and let's head home. For our art making project today, we are going to be making our own imagination sculptures. The great thing about this project is that there's no right way or wrong way to do it. You get to use your imagination and create based on what inspires you. So if you're looking for inspiration, I thought I might give you a couple ideas based on the book that we just read. So you could think about some of these things while you're deciding what you want to make for your sculpture. So what if horses could fly? What if trees could dance? What if lions could roller skate? What if clouds were blankets? What if it rained cookies? What if playgrounds were on the moon? So these are just some ideas. There's no limit to where your imagination can take you. And the supplies for this are also very open-ended, and you can decide what you'd like to use. So today I looked in my recycling bin to find some repurposed materials. So I found this kind of cardboard basket that used to hold berries. I have some cardboard tubes, some bubble wrap, some colored paper, some pages from magazines. I went to my bathroom and I found these cotton pads. I have like another plastic container. So you can kind of look around and see what inspires you. And then I'm also going to be using tape or glue, a scissors, and some drawing material. So I have crayons today, but you could use anything. So I was thinking about that idea about what if clouds were blankets, and I found these cotton pads in my bathroom, and I just thought that would be a fun thing to do, to turn these into my cloud blanket. So I think that's what I'm going to make today. But remember, you get to do yours any way that you want. Or you could even think about the story that we read, or think about the art that we looked at and see if that inspires you as well. So I think I might need to make a bed to make my cloud blanket. So I think I was going to use this maybe to kind of build on. And I think I might start to make my cloud blanket with my cotton pads. So I'm going to use some tape and just kind of tape my cotton onto my berry basket here. That's going to kind of serve as my base. And when you're building kind of sculptures out of repurposed materials, sometimes it's good to have something to build on top of. So whether it's a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper or something kind of sturdy that you can kind of build your creation on, that sometimes helps. And I'm just rolling my tape so I can stick it on the back here, but you can also just tape it so that the tape shows too. So here, I'll do that with this one. And the great thing about this project is really the best materials to use are the ones that you have, because only you know what you want to create based on your imagination. So you get to decide what you use. And sometimes the material might inspire an idea. So when I was looking around to look for art supplies to use, I saw these cotton pads and I thought, I might want to make something inspired by clouds with these cotton pads because they kind of look like clouds. So that can be another way to come up with an idea, is to look at a material and think about it that way. Or you've got your idea and you find the materials that help you bring that idea to life. And that's how artists work sometimes too. Sometimes the material comes first, or sometimes the idea comes first. So there's my cloud blanket. Now I think I might want to make myself in my cloud blanket. So I think I might need to cut out some paper to do that. I'm gonna use my cardboard tube. And if you've watched Wee Wednesday before, you know that I love cardboard tubes. You can use them for so many different things. And it's an easy thing that you have around your house that you can use. And remember, you get to make your art look the way that you want, and it might not look necessarily the way that it looks like in real life. So I'm already thinking, maybe I might make kind of a different shaped head here. So I might make my head square instead of a round. So I'm gonna tape this. So my head's kind of peeking out there. I think I might need some hair. Ooh, maybe I'll make bubble wrap hair. Be kind of fun. this out here. It's kind of fun. I might try to see what happens when I color on this too. So that's another fun part about using your imagination and making these sculptures that you're not really sure what might happen. So I'm kind of curious as to what will happen when I color on this. So I can kind of see the blue, but it's not really showing up. Oh, maybe the red's showing up better. That's the fun thing about making art, is just trying things out. And it might not turn out the way that you expected, but that's okay. So this isn't really turning out exactly how I thought, but it is kind of making my bubble wrap look different than it did, which is kind of what I wanted. Yeah, we'll continue on with that. I do like the way that the bubble wrap looks, so let's attach that to my sleeping person here. And that's not really staying up the way that I wanted, so I might need to add something. And when you're building sculptures out of repurposed materials, sometimes you have to kind of play around with it until you can get it to stay that you want. So I might add a little stand here. So this is a great way to make things stand up, is to make a little tab. So I'm going to glue this tab to the back here so that it will help it stay up. So I'm going to add glue on this side. And put it here. And then I'm going to tape it to the box here so it helps my little person stay up. Yep, see, and now they're looking at me right there. Now I think I might want to have some feet kind of dangling out here, like the blanket's not quite covering their whole body. Has that ever happened to you before? Maybe if you're growing really fast and your feet stick out from under your blanket. Maybe we'll make some kind of interesting shoes here. Another one. And you can always draw something before you cut it out if you need a grown-up's help to do that. Sometimes you can draw it and they can help you cut it out. Or you can just let your scissors see where it takes you. Sticking out. And I found this paper in a magazine and I saw clouds on it and I thought, that might be kind of interesting to maybe add some of this paper to my project here. I'm just going to cut it out. As much of it as I can. And see where it might. I think for this I might rip it to kind of make some unique shapes. Ripping is another great way to kind of add some different kinds of lines that maybe your scissors can't create. So that kind of looks like a cloud to me. And I think I might glue these onto the sides of my bed here, kind of like this person might be sleeping up in a cloud. I need a little more glue. Let's Just add some more. See, I think I have enough paper maybe to add one cloud on each side. But this is kind of a long, skinny cloud. Have you ever seen clouds like that? They can look so different depending on the day. I'll do my last one. Oh, I kind of like that shape and color there, so I might just keep it. So there's my what if clouds were blankets interpretation of my imagination sculpture. Thank you for joining me today here at We Wednesday. We hope you had fun. I wanted to show you another example of an imagination sculpture that I made. So this is the one that we made together. This is me thinking about what if clouds were blankets that I made out of a cardboard berry basket, some cotton pads, and some other paper and plastic. I also made a sculpture thinking about what if playgrounds were on the moon. And so I used a cardboard tube, a plastic applesauce container, and some aluminum foil, and kind of made some swings in a futuristic setting that I was thinking about. So there's so many different things you can make out of lots of different materials. So we would love to see your imagination sculptures. Please post them on social media to share them with us. You can use the hashtags STL Art Museum and We Wednesday. We hope to see you next time. Keep on creating. Bye.